5L. A 6-frame light with subpar range. Otherwise, it functions as any standard 5L does. "2L. A standard low-light attack. It has a unique property in where it will combo into 5LL if his 5L whiffs in a combo. "5LL. A 7-frame medium scaling attack with not much range. "5LLL. A lunging attack in which 17 has low invulnerability, allowing him to crush low attacks of all kind. "JL. A standard jumping light attack. "5M. A 9-frame advancing normal that nearly travels round start distance. "2M. A fast short-range sweep which is safe on block. "6M. The generic universal overhead. "JM. A 9-frame air normal with good horizontal reach. "5H. A generic heavy attack sharing all its properties from Android 18's 5H. "2H. The standard anti-air with stellar vertical reach. "3H. An extra low normal with good reach. Like 2H, this normal also anti-airs. While 17 is sliding, his hurt box becomes low enough to avoid certain projectiles. "JH. A jumping heavy attack that has less vertical range than most other jumping heavy attacks. "J2H. A generic normal which primarily sees use in combos and not anywhere else. "5S. A standard key blast attack. 17 shoots out 6 blasts. "JS. A steep angled key blast volley with a large amount of hit stun. 17 shoots 3 waves of 2 key blasts at maximum. This combos into super dash from a majority of ranges. I'm going to first cover 17's S specials as his other specials have unique properties I'll explain later. Power Blitz Charge, the only safe on block special that 17 has in his disposal. 17 has access to Power Blitz once the yellow flash from his hands comes out. Power Blitz. 17 throws 2 beam level projectiles. This special is plus on block and does a sliding knockdown on hit. Because 17 throws 2 beams, his opponents would need 2 beams to cancel it out. Unlike base Goku's Spirit Bomb, 17 will keep Power Blitz if he got hit before he could throw the attack. Acrobatic Assault. 17 leaps to a wall and rebounds off of it in a diagonal angle. Doing 2-3-6S will have him leap to the wall in front of him, and 2-1-4S will have him leap to the wall behind him. After jumping off the wall, 17 can do any air action immediately, except blocking or air dashing. 17 can do 2 acrobatic assaults if the first one was done on the ground. He cannot do so if the initial acrobatic assault was done in the air. Now I'll explain 17's most unique special, his driver series. Similar to Noel's Chain Revolver, Angel's Unchained Circle and Akihiko's Cyclone, these moves are a sort of Rekka which puts 17 in a sort of stance that I'll call Driver, in which he gains access to specials exclusive to this stance. Unlike someone like Vidal whose follow-ups follow a narrow path, 17's Driver specials can be used in any order. There are some rules to these specials that you must take note of. 17 has 4 moves that put him in Driver, which I'll refer to as Driver starters, being XL Driver, Finishing Driver, the aerial version of Second Gear, and the aerial version of Fake Out. When in Driver, 17 has access to a total of 5 exclusive specials which can be used in any order, and can be cancelled into one another on hit, block, or whiff. He can also cancel into his Driver starters from his Driver specials, or even just from his other Driver starters, so long as those Driver starters are on the ground. 17 cannot use the same Driver special more than once. In order to use them again he needs to use another Driver starter. While in Driver, his S specials no longer need the full motion input to be used, and instead just need a directional input. First let's talk about the Driver starters. XL Driver. 17 runs a certain distance before striking. The light version is the fastest and the shortest traveling. The medium version is slower and travels nearly full screen. The heavy version will have 17 run through his opponent before striking. The light and medium versions have head invulnerability on the 4th frame, while the heavy version has frame 1 head invulnerability. The medium and heavy versions, when held down, will have 17 do a feint. He still has head invulnerability while he runs and will still reach the respective distances. The heavy version can be cancelled into other Driver follow-ups as soon as he runs past his opponent. Finishing Driver. 17 does a backwards shuffle before commencing an attack that is similar to his XL Driver. During this backwards movement, 17 has projectile and head invulnerability on the 4th frame across all versions. As soon as 17 finishes his backwards movement, he can cancel into his other Driver follow-ups. The running portion of this special functions exactly like the corresponding strength of XL Driver. Aerial Second Gear. 17 does a falling elbow attack which hits as an overhead. The light one has him drop directly below him and does a soft knockdown. The medium version travels about round start distance and does a sliding knockdown, and the heavy version travels a bit farther and does a small ground bounce into a sliding knockdown. These overheads can all be anti-aired. Aerial Fake Out. 17 does a small jump arc before falling to the floor. The light version travels in a similar distance as the aerial medium second gear. The medium version travels backwards, and the heavy version has 17 drop straight down. Next, is Driver Specials. Top Gear. A straight mid punch, and the best damage scaling Driver Special. The light version is 8 frames on startup with short range, and the medium version is 10 frames with incredible range. Second gear. A leaping overhead. The light version has a startup of 25 frames and travels a small distance, while the medium version has a startup of 26 frames and travels half screen. Both versions hit 2 frames later on crouching opponents. Unlike the aerial version of second gear, these versions cannot be anti-aired. Low gear. A sweep which hits low. The light version hits on the 10th frame and covers a small range, while the medium version has a startup of 12 frames and goes about a round start distance. Fake out. 17 does a jump in an arc resembling his second gear attack. The light and medium versions travel as far as the light and medium versions of his second gear. Reverse gear. 17 emits a barrier. Like the barriers of Android 18 and Lab Coat 21, he is invulnerable to all physical and projectile attacks, is invulnerable until he returns to his neutral stance after the barrier is struck, loses to supers and grabs of all kind, even after the barrier is hit, and for every hit he gains a set amount of meter. Unlike those other barriers, 17 is invincible on the first frame, cannot cancel into other specials or supers, and has access to a unique follow-up in which he can combo from once the barrier has been hit. This follow-up behaves like other driver specials, however, it cannot be cancelled into other specials on block or whiff. It is only cancelable on a clean hit against the opposing point character. Otherwise, on block it can only be cancelled into Vanish or any of his supers, but not Sparking Blast. Heavy reverse gear is the only heavy driver special 17 has. This version of reverse gear has less active frames than the light version, has the ability to use the follow-up whenever the player wants, and has invulnerability over supers. However, it still loses to grabs of all kind. Unlike the regular follow-up, this version is cancelable into other driver specials on hit and block, but not on with. Endgame. 17's highest damaging level 1. 17 will track to the opponent's back and do a 3-hit combo. If the final hit kills, he will do a small animation preventing other DHCs. Barrier explosion. If done on the ground, this super has 17 tracked to his opponent's vertical position. This version of the super is also his DHC. If done in the air, he will not track the opponent. This super is also frame 1 invincible to all attacks, but can be anti-aired. For some reason, this super scales way better than other invincible level 1s. Take a look at this comparison with Bardock's super. Super Electric Strike. A beam type level 3 which can also be used in the air. Its damage and startup is typical for this type of super. A assist. 17 does the heavy version of reverse gear. The barrier is invincible on the 10th frame and will not defend against supers. This assist features defensive and offensive tools and has considerable block stun and hit stun. B assist. 17 does power blitz charge. This assist is a fast strike assist with high block stun, and when used will guarantee power blitz for 17 when he's on point. This assist has issues in mid-screen block strings where certain normals or specials advance too forward, or have a noticeable amount of pushback. Oddly, the hit stun of this assist will never change, unlike other assists. Take a look at this comparison with Blue VG to understand. C assist. A block stun type C assist. Like other C assists of this kind, this assist tracks across the floor and has 55 frames of block stun, but it also has head invulnerability, though it's more of a bonus than a feature.